But boy, what a freaking iced tea everywhere. I swear I've got a poltergeist in this kitchen. That's what's going on here. A poltergeist is going on in this kitchen. Anyhow, so before I was so rudely interrupted, look at that, it just broke the cap right off. Uh-huh. Off came the cap. Wow. Broken. But I think I have one in here. Yeah, I can use the cap on the one in there. Wow, that was really strange. Anyhow, we were in the process before we got so rudely interrupted. Welcome. Welcome. And a couple exclamation marks. Ask any question you want on any topic. There. All right, now let's get back to making this protein shake. Huh. Well, we were trying to show my pretty little helper before we got interrupted so rudely. Huh, you guys? We did. So rudely interrupted. There we did. But that's okay because we have the ability to fix this very quickly, very easily. Ta-da! What was once broken is now fixed. There. Repaired. Now we can get back to creating our masterpiece of a protein shake. Man. Oh, yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Oh my God, that's good. That is so good. Now, protein powder. This is going to be a killer one, Zoe. I can tell right now. This is going to be a killer shake. Yep. Going to be a killer shake. Now, one final ingredient. Leche. Guts to have my milk. Anybody that knows me can tell you that I go through about 2 gallons of non-fat or 1% per week. 2 gallons in a week for me. I drink milk with every meal. Not that I don't enjoy other beverages, but for me, milk is very satisfying. I mean, it goes good with everything. Make sure you're on tight. Plug in our Nutra Ninja. And off we go. You ready, Zoe? wish you were here to taste this. Mind you, I've already got one beef eater, one taste tester, sitting down here waiting. There we go. Slowly open that. Now in this container, I have put together spinach, yogurt, peanut butter, protein powder, milk, a couple ice cubes. Yum. Who got back on? Oh, hey, Jim. Yeah, it was crazy. I had two of these containers sitting on top of my refrigerator, the iced tea containers, and one of them came flying off, hit the counter, exploded. I had iced tea everywhere. It was amazing. What a mess. All right, I have to get some out for Zoe. If you haven't met Zoe, Jen, this is Zoe. That's Cassie, my 18-year-old tabby cat, who's losing her mind slowly. Zoe is my Chiweenie. She's 12 years old. That's a dachshund and a Chihuahua. And she must have some of my protein shake or she's just not happy. So we need to put some out for her. Just like my two-legged kids, I share everything with my four-legged children as well. Let's try this first. Oh my God, yes. The little dollop of peanut butter that I put in is just outstanding. And remember, not all peanut butters are made the same. When you go in the store to buy your peanut butter, the only ingredient you should ever find, peanuts and maybe salt. That's it. If you find anything else in the peanut butter, you'll find stuff like palm oil, hydrolyzed cottonseed oil, sugar. I mean, it's amazing the crap that they add to peanut butter. It's crazy. The only thing you should ever find in your peanut butter when you go to buy it, I don't care if it's crunchy or smooth, peanuts, salt. That's it. You know, you have already had your breakfast this morning, my dear. If I even wake up so much as at 3 a.m., she starts meowing because she thinks that's time to be fed. You've already had yours. You going to try some of this with Zoe? I don't know if Zoe will put up with that. All right, Zoe, you ready? Here. Really? You guys going to try it together? Here, watch this. The two ladies. And Zoe's actually putting up with it. I don't believe it. Zoe's actually putting up with it. Zoe is pretty protective over her protein stuff, but one is 18 years old and one is 12 years old, so I got 30 years worth of pets down here. If you think it's cute, capture this moment, put it on the wall. If you know how to do that. You ran away, Cass. I guess Zoe pushed you out of the way, huh? Anyhow, if you have any questions, hit me up. I'm an ACE certified personal trainer and health coach. And in a month after I finish my morning protein shake, we're going to go in and do some stretching. And then I'm going to talk about a couple things that are facing this nation right now, the obesity epidemic and the diabetes epidemic, both of which I got caught up in. Yeah, 13 years ago, I was 252 pounds, and in my first year of smoking cigarettes, and I got hit with type 2 diabetes, so I had to make some royal changes, to say the least. Look at this. She finished that whole plate. I mean, Cassie had some, but yeah, Zoe finished it. Hey, Zoe, was it good? Was that good? You like that? Look at that face. Who couldn't love that face? Huh? Was that good? Did you like that? You got some on your chin? Clean your chin off. My goodness. Spoiled rotten. Yeah, kids? Four-legged or two-legged? There's really not much difference between them. What? I think that was plenty, considering you already had your morning treats. I'm not going to give you any more. It'll ruin your dinner. Oh, you can look at me with those baby eyes all you want to. Mm-hmm. She's been using these baby eyes on me since I got her in 2007. Huh. Hmm. What? Spoiled. You are so spoiled. Nope, that's all. You finished it. All gone. But Dad, you have more. Yeah, I know. But Dad weighs a lot more than you do. Uh-huh. Dear. It's always calories. Always comes down to numbers. So good. Now this, probably hitting up somewhere around about 400 calories. Everything that I put in here, including the protein powder, peanut butter. Obviously, there weren't any calories in the spinach. The fruit, not a lot of calories in the frozen fruit that I put in. The milk was non-fat, so yeah, all in all, probably around 400 calories in the power smoothie I'm having this morning. Packed with protein, packed with antioxidants. What? Very filling. How's a very mm-hmm. A little bit of water. I keep my water in copper containers. Copper is good for the body. Okay. Morning meds, mid-morning. I, just like 100 million other Americans, suffer lower back pain. Believe that? 1 out of 3 of us suffers lower back pain. You guys suffer any back pain? Hey, Nico. We're going to head on in here and do some stretching. I'll answer any questions you've got. If you have anything you want to ask me regarding personal training, health coaching, pretty much any topic, take your pick. I'm pretty much wide open today. You can even ask Zachary if you want. Here, ask Zachary a question. Hey, Zach, you going to answer a question? They want to know. They want to hear from you. Here. Zachary's a 13-year-old chug, which is a Chihuahua and a pug. And I rescued him in 2009. He was abandoned. Zeke is a Chiggy, which is a Welsh Corgi and a Chihuahua. And he is also a member of the abandoned group. All of my animals are rescues. Oh, baby boy. This guy was literally a total wreck when I got him about 2.5 years ago. Complete and total emotional wreck. He just could not. He couldn't even stand looking at his own shadow. He was scared of everything. Oh, baby. Anyhow, you guys, glad you joined me. It's going to be awesome Sunday today. I've already taken care of my morning exercise. I've gone and done my 4 miles. For those of you who aren't familiar, that used to be me. Well, even beyond that, that was only 205. Here's the scary one. 252 at my heaviest. Yep. 252 pounds. I'm 142 pounds now. My BMI back then was 38, and my BMI now is 22. At that time, also, when I was at my heaviest, I was a cigarette smoker. So, yeah, I didn't do myself any favors. I had to get rid of the smokes and get rid of the weight, 110 pounds worth, to try and make some changes. If you have any questions on weight loss, if you're facing any of these challenges, please hit me up. One thing that I like to do, and one thing I'm helping people do this year, my community give back, is I'm helping people quit smoking for free. Now, there's no way that you're going to get your life in order, no way you're going to get your health in order if you're still smoking cigarettes. Take it from someone who smoked from 15 to 46. If I can help somebody quit long before I did, do not wait like I did until you get a perceived health threat. Too often, people are not looking at the warning signs. They see they're gaining weight, they see they're getting heavy. They can look in the mirror, they know they're gaining weight, they know they're getting heavy. But unless you start feeling bad, unless you start getting some kind of symptoms, which is what happened to me, before I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes at 252 pounds, smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. So before then, before I was starting to get the symptoms of diabetes, I was fat and happy. So literally just sitting around working on computers, for years and years and years, just getting bigger and bigger. And eventually my pancreas said, you ain't going to do this anymore. And my doctor said, you need to make some changes or, pick out some fingers and toes and, things that you don't like because they're going to chop them off. Diabetic neuropathy is nothing to mess around with, you guys. Besides the numbness, the tingling, the burning, you can also have foot ulcers. Literally, foot ulcers. And then once the nerves begin dying off and the circulation goes, then you start looking at gangrene. And before that happens, they have to cut that stuff off. You get gangrene, that could kill you. So you have a choice at that time. Do you let them, cut off what they need to cut off? Or do you die from gangrene? All because you didn't manage your type 2 diabetes. Now, the scary thing is, right now, out of 325 million Americans, 84 million Americans have pre-diabetes. That means they're right on the line. They're right on the line of becoming a full-blown type 2 diabetic. Most of these people are where I was. They're either overweight or they're obese. One of the most sure indicators that you could be on that list of prediabetes if you haven't already been diagnosed is the fact that you're carrying too much weight. 2 out of 3 Americans right now is either overweight or obese. 2 out of 3 Americans. 2/3, 67%. We have an obesity epidemic happening in America right now. Not just America, it's a global epidemic. 1 out of 5 people globally, 1 out of 5 people on this planet are now either overweight or obese. 20%. Now, that's nothing compared to America. Of course, we lead the way. We've always led the way. We lead the way in everything. Unfortunately, we're leading the way in an obesity epidemic. 67% of Americans, again, 2/3 are either overweight or obese. So I know I had to take off 110 pounds to get down to the weight that I'm supposed to be at. More importantly, not so much the weight, the body mass index, your BMI. As a personal trainer and health coach, those are my main concerns. I'm not as concerned about what your weight is as much as I am about what your body mass index is. You can figure it out very easy. If you don't know yet, go on you just Google BMI index, or go on the cdc.gov website and look up body mass index. And you put in your height and you put in your weight, and it'll take you to the little box that shows you exactly what your BMI is. Anything over 30 is overweight. Anything over 35 is obese. I was 38. Our president is close to obese right now. He is 6'3" and 239 pounds, which puts him right on the line for obese. Anybody can figure out what their body mass index is. Anybody. So, you want to know, are you in the healthy range for your body mass index? One, you should be talking about it with your doctor. If you aren't doing an annual physical, you need to. If you aren't getting your labs done, your blood work done before your annual physical, you need to. One of the things that you cannot ignore are your health numbers. And the numbers that I'm specifically concerned about as a certified health coach, I want to know what your BMI is. Is your body mass where it's supposed to be? Is your height and weight proportionate where it's supposed to be? Are you healthy, in other words, per your body mass index? What's your blood pressure? Do you have high blood pressure? If you're carrying extra weight, especially if you were like me, obese, I had to go on blood pressure medication in my mid-40s. How's your cholesterol? High, low, triglycerides. Are the numbers where they need to be? Now, all of this should be discussed between you and your primary care physician, you and your doctor, when you're doing your annual physical. I do blood work every 90 days. I'm a diabetic. Well, 90 to 120, depending on what my doctor determines. Depending a lot on what my A1C numbers have been. My A1C numbers lately have been around 6.1, 6.0, 6.2, that range over the last year. My goal is to get my A1C down to 5.8. But remember, I am a full-blown type 2 diabetic taking 2 different medications to maintain just keeping it at a pre-diabetes range, because my pancreas is only half working. So if you're pre-diabetic, and that's what I'm talking about here, 2/3 of America is either overweight or obese. 200 million Americans, in other words, have to lose weight right now. 84 million of those people are pre-diabetic. Now, that comes with good news and bad news, right? Before I get into that, let me say hi to whoever's joined us and see if you have any questions or comments. Oh, hey, Mick. Hey, Nico. Seriously, if you guys have any questions on this stuff, let me know. As a certified personal trainer, I can sit here and motivate you and yell at you and jaw at you all day long about becoming healthy. But if you have any specific questions, that's what I'm here for. And it doesn't just have to be on weight or health. If you have questions on anything, as an author, I put out a book that's got 80 different chapters in it, and there's many different things I cover. So if you want to look on Amazon, you can pull up Pushing Double Nickels and look at the table of contents. And just pick a topic, anything you like, and we can talk about it. My second most favorite topic to talk about are animals, dogs specifically. I am a dog lover and a dog expert, and I'm writing a dog book that should hopefully be out by the end of this year. Anyhow, hit me up with some questions, you guys. If you haven't got any questions for me, I may just turn on lice swatter and just get my stretching done. If you're sitting down, get up. One of the things I like to do, at least with the folks who are watching me, is to see if I can get you up off your butts and at least get you moving. One thing that we have on top of the obesity epidemic happening in this country is a sedentary habit epidemic. In other words, we have too many people sitting around too much, too often, too long. And that's causing a lot of the issues we're having with weight gain. Take it from a guy who worked in the computer industry 25 years and sat around on the computer most of the day, just typing away, happy camper. And when you get up to, I'll show you the picture again, just to scare you. When you get up to 252 pounds or a BMI of 38, which was obese me, and the doctor says, well, you've now got type 2 diabetes and you need to make some changes. Otherwise, you can start picking out toes and fingers that you don't like, and your eyesight, and eventually your life. Type 2 diabetes is nothing to mess around with. So, as I was saying, 2/3 of America currently needs to lose weight. 2/3 of America is either where I was overweight or where I was obese. 2/3 of us, all right? So there's a lot of people out there who need to lose weight. Out of those 200 million Americans who need to lose weight right now, 84 million of them, 1 out of 4 Americans, has pre-diabetes. Now, I was saying, pre-diabetes comes with good news and bad news, both. And you're thinking, well, what kind of good news or bad news could we get from learning we have pre-diabetes? Well, the bad news about pre-diabetes, which means you're right on the verge of becoming a full-blown diabetic, the bad news about being a pre-diabetic is if you don't do something, make some small changes, then you're going to become a full-blown type 2 diabetic like me, and you'll wind up taking medication for the rest of your life, right? Or if you're like the 10 million out of 30 who've already been diagnosed, there's 30 million of us type 2 diabetics who are already diagnosed, 10 million aren't doing anything. Yeah, you want to talk insanity. You want to talk crazy. These are the people that have already had the conversation that I had with my doctor in 2005, when my doctor said, you're overweight, you're smoking, you need to make changes, you have type 2 diabetes. If you don't make some changes, you're going to start losing fingers and toes and your eyesight and eventually your life. Can you imagine being told that and then doing absolutely nothing about it? That's insane. It's absolutely crazy, but 10 million right now are doing just that. I hope to God none of you are on that list. Because if you have type 2 diabetes and you start getting that numbness and that tingling and that burning sensation from the diabetic neuropathy, and that's the beginning. Never mind what comes later with the diabetic foot ulcers and things of that nature. You know, type 2 diabetes, diabetes mellitus is nothing to play around with, you guys. If you have any questions, hit me up. Where I live, almost everyone is fat. It's normal now. Yeah, well, that's just the problem. It's not normal to be overweight or obese. It's not normal for lifespans to be shortening. And for the second year in a row, as long as we've been tracking these numbers, lifespans have shortened 2 years in a row. I mean, this is crazy. Absolutely crazy. But the good news about being pre-diabetic and the good news about being overweight or obese is you can make those changes. If you're pre-diabetic, you can get off that list. That is not a death sentence. Pre-diabetes means, yes, you might get it, but you don't have to. What I tell my clients, and I'm a weight loss specialist, that's what I do. I want to make sure I'm answering your question here. I'll put on the old man glasses too. Why doesn't the government tell? Well, we are. Yeah, the CDC is. Oh yeah, if you go over to the CDC website, we are talking about it all the time. And one thing about soda, and this is true for not just soda, but any sugary beverages. And it's not so much that you have a sugary beverage; it's the quantity. I mean, the same thing with your food. With my clients, when they when they need to lose weight, and one of the misconceptions, and I get this one all the time, Brad, I don't want to start eating cardboard, right? I don't want to have to drink all the time, right? I mean, a lot of these comments, and be realistic. Nobody is going to start eating rice cakes and eating salads and just suddenly overnight no longer hit McDonald's or get cheeseburgers and fried chicken. That's not going to happen. We have to be realistic about this. Instead of stopping eating all the foods that we like to eat, right? And I haven't. I still eat all the foods that I enjoy. I have my own comfort foods. Let's look at portion sizes instead. Because that's really where the determination is going to be whether or not you're gaining weight or losing weight. Not necessarily what you eat, although that's important. The quality of what goes in your body, yes, that's important. But initially, when you have to lose weight, it's the quantity, okay? Every 3,500 calories that go into the human body that is not burned off with some sort of exercise turns into 1 pound of fat. 1 pound of fat. Let me repeat that. Every 3,500 calories that you do not burn off with some sort of energy, exercise, or natural autonomic function is going to burn a certain number of calories every day anyway. Your breathing, your heart rate, etc. But for every 3,500 calories that you consume, you're just sitting around, you're eating the food, but you don't burn it off in some sort of exercise, that will turn into 1 pound of fat. Conversely, for every 3,500 calories that you burn, that takes off 1 pound of fat. It's a simple math formula, okay? So right now, we have 200 million Americans who are either overweight, like I was, or obese, like I was before that. Remember, I was 50 pounds heavier than this, okay? And this was about a 38 to 40 inch waist. My waist was 44, 46 back when it was the biggest. And don't forget, at the same time, I'm in my 31st year of smoking cigarettes, a pack a day, Camel filters mostly, okay? I did not do myself any favors, And the reason I'm telling you this is because I know that if at 46 I got hit with type 2 diabetes, at 46 I was obese. Literally, my BMI was 38. At 46 years old, I had a choice to make, and my doctor told me exactly what that choice was. You either make some changes or start picking out fingers and toes that you don't like, because diabetes will make you get them cut off. And eventually it'll make you lose your life. So me, I like all my fingers and I like all my toes. And I was able to fall back on my Marine Corps training. I was a Marine at a very young age, just in and out, get my GI Bill. But I was able to fall back on my inner Marine to kick my own butt and put together my own program that slowly, over time, it didn't happen overnight. Remember, I didn't get heavy overnight. It didn't happen overnight. So there was no way that I was going to lose all the weight overnight. And that's one thing that drives me crazy. As a personal trainer and health coach, one of the things that I'm always watching for are ways that I can help my clients do things more logically, more sensibly. And I watch these television commercials out there right now for Nutrisystems and South Beach and Marie Osmond, who's lost the same 50 pounds for 20 years. I mean, she must be getting that food for free by now. You know, seriously, lose 10 pounds in 30 seconds. I mean, lose weight fast. That's what they all want you to do. No, I don't want you to lose weight fast. I don't want you to go on a diet. Period. I mean, that's a waste of time. What you need to do is to figure out long-term lifestyle changes, figure out what you're doing now, how you can slowly modify it so that instead of having a positive energy balance at the end of every day or at the end of the week, you're going to have a negative energy balance. The difference being a negative energy balance, you're burning calories. You're not putting on pounds. You're not adding 3,500 calories on that you're not burning off. Now remember, 3,500 calories can be added in a day. It can be added in a week. But every 3,000 calories that you add on that you don't burn off, that's 1 pound of fat. Okay? Same thing if you burn it off. If you take off 1 pound of fat, 3,500 calories in a week, you've taken off a pound. So I don't want people to lose weight fast. I tell my folks 1 to 2 pounds a week. Let's be sensible. Let's be logical. Let's be realistic about it. There's no way they're going to start eating salads and fruit and all of the, everything that I preach about on the healthy diet. And it's on the CDC website. You just go over to choosemyplate.gov. It'll show you what the current nutrition guidelines are. And it's fairly simple. Half your plate should be fruits and vegetables, more vegetables and fruits. Half your plate should be proteins and grains, more grains and protein, with some dairy. That's it. I mean, it's fairly simple. And the more colorful, the better. But here's what you need to do first. And this is what I have everybody do. And if you guys want to write this down, seriously, if you want to write this down, share it with anybody you want, including the email address I'm going to give you, then I'm going to give you at least the beginning step to start getting yourself under control, back in balance, moving more towards a negative energy balance than a positive energy balance. And at the same time, trying to do it logically, sensibly. I know there's no way you're all going to turn into health freaks overnight. That's not going to happen. But small steps over time are going to make a big difference. Love the Gunners. Appreciate you guys watching. Fan me up if you're learning anything. If I'm helping at all. If you have any questions with regard to anything having to do with your health. As an A-certified health coach, I cover the entire gamut, not just the physical. I mean, physical is important, yes, but I'm also concerned about you emotionally, mentally, intellectually, and yes, spiritually. As an A-certified health coach, I talk about the entire person, not just being in weight or getting in shape or building muscle. No, you're an entire person. I can't just pick pieces and parts of you and say, this can be healthy and that can be unhealthy. You got to be a completely balanced individual all the way around. But I was saying, if you want to start taking control of your diet, and understanding how to turn a positive energy balance, gaining weight, into a negative energy balance, losing weight. It's a simple formula, like I say, every 3,500 calories either consumed and not burned adds a pound of fat, or burned off takes off a pound of fat. How do you figure out if you're negative energy balance or positive energy balance? Well, one, you'll already know. If you're doing like I was doing, and I would work all day in the office, I'd go out at lunch, I'd get myself a cheeseburger, a chicken sandwich, fries, onion rings, a shake. I'd schlep it all back to the office. I'd stuff my face for the next half hour while I was working on the computer, still sitting down all day long, go home, feed my face again, get back on the computer or sit and watch TV with the family, whatever. Most of my life was spent stuffing my face and sitting around, either on the job or at home or in traffic going to a meeting, whatever. So I had absolutely zero control, zero balance going on at that time, and blew up to 252 pounds, obese, literally. BMI 38, still smoking the cigarettes, remember? But one of the things that I did, and one of the things that I do now with my clients to help them begin getting themselves under control, and one of the first things, now this is after you've been in and had your full physical and labs done with your doctor. Because for me, I want to know, what's your BMI? You can figure that out now. Just go look up BMI scale, put in your height and your weight. You'll know. What's your BMI? What's your blood pressure? Is it good? Is it high? Is it low? Are you on blood pressure meds? Cholesterol levels, the high, the low, the triglycerides. I want to know how your lipids are. A1C is the big one. See, that's the 60-day tolerance level for how glucose is being processed through your system, how your pancreas is creating insulin to process the sugars that are going through your body. That can only be determined getting in and getting your lab work done before you go in and visit your doctor. Okay, so get your labs done, visit your doctor, find out all of these numbers, and then the one other number, and this is a number you won't get at your doctor's office, but it's one that I will figure out with you. What's your current resting heart rate? Average is anywhere from 60 to 100 beats a minute. That's the normal resting heart rate. I mean, and yeah, you can have a normal resting heart rate anywhere between there. If you're heavy, if you're overweight, if you're putting additional strain on your heart, then your heart rate, your resting heart rate may not be as low as it should be. The lower the resting heart rate, normally, the more efficiently it is pumping blood, and therefore the healthier the heart. My resting heart rate right now is just below 60 beats a minute. I'm around 58. I want to get down this year. I have a goal to get down to 55 beats a minute. To do this, I have to personally train myself. As a personal trainer, I am my first and most important client. You certainly wouldn't consider hiring me as a personal trainer or health coach if I still look like this. Oh, yeah, I'll help you lose weight and get in shape. Yeah, no problem. No. I mean, I have to be able to walk the walk. So for me, I do power walking, Zen walking, 6 days a week. About 4 miles each day at about 4 miles an hour. So I'm putting in about 24, 25 miles a week for my cardio. On top of that, I do weights 3 times a week, about 600 reps, 3 times a week, alternating every other day, and then a 2-day rest period in between. Besides that, 7 days a week, I stretch my butt off every day, usually a couple times a day. I have permanent back issues, including osteoarthritis, mild scoliosis, lordosis, and bone spurs from L1 through S5, not to mention a screwed up coccyx and a permanently torn hamstring. But I'm not letting that get in my way. Hey, you sit around for 3 decades and you blow up to 250 pounds, which for a 5'8" guy is pretty big, all right? And you spend 3 decades putting smoke, poison cigarette smoke in your body, you're not doing yourself any favors. I didn't do myself any favors. Anyhow, getting back to what I want you to write down, okay? If you are in a position where I was, where you need to start taking control of your health and thereby your diet first, one, if you still smoke cigarettes, I'll help you quit free. Just reach out to me, any of my social links. Right? I'm helping people with cigarettes for free all this year. So if that's your first step, great, let's move on it. But if weight loss is what you're after, And you need to turn your daily positive energy balance into a negative energy balance. In other words, you need to make sure by the end of the day, or at least by the end of the week, you're not putting on weight. You want to start taking off weight. After you've gone through physicals and your doctor has given you the okay to move forward with any kind of physical activity plan, and I work directly with your doctor, I am fully HIPAA compliant, all ACE certified professionals, just so you know. ACE is the only certification, both for the personal trainers and the health coaches, we are the only certification that is under HIPAA regulations. That simply means to you that everything is private. Everything stays mum. I do not share information about anything going on with my clients with anyone except for their physician, and that's when it's put together that way with the client and the physician. When you get diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, your doctor tells you you've got prediabetes. It's nice to have somebody that you can reach out to and go, help! Because when I got hit with it in 2005, I didn't have the faintest clue what the frick to do. So for me, it was a very much a learning situation. So what I want you to write down, after you've done your physical, you've got your labs, you've got the okay to do some kind of healthy living plan, I want you to keep a food diary for 1 week. Right? Now, don't all of a sudden turn into a health freak. Don't all of a sudden for the next 7 days, start eating healthy, just to try and impress. The reason I have people do a food diary for 1 week is so that we can literally figure out what's going in, okay? What calories are going in. Now, I want specific details, right, on this food diary. Obviously, I want to know what you ate. Okay, so you had a cheeseburger. Cool. Did you make it at home? Did you buy it at McDonald's? Was it a double cheeseburger, a single cheeseburger? I want to know as much detail about what you ate as possible. Okay? And of course, the quantity. Was it a big fry, a small fries? I want to know everything you ate. I want to know what time you ate that food. Specifically, breakfast, lunch, snack, before bed. I want to know what time you ate the food. I want to know the brand name. If there's a brand name on that food, was it like Nabisco? Was it Oreo? Was it, Pepperidge Farm? Did you buy it at a restaurant? Were you sitting in Red Lobster? I want to know where the food came from. Who was the manufacturer? Did you make it yourself, even? I want to know how much you ate, all right, specifically. So if you had, cheese and crackers, I had 15 crackers and this many blocks of cheese, and estimate the ounces. Be as detailed as possible. I want to know why you ate that food. Now, not everybody eats because they're hungry, and I'm finding this a lot. I have comfort food that I eat. We all have comfort food. We don't all eat for the same reasons. All right, so I want to know why you ate that food. Okay, I want to know where you ate that food. You would be amazed at some of the places, some of the answers that I get on where people are eating food sometimes. And I'm not talking about just things like in the car on the way to work, and I mean some really strange places. But I want to know where you ate what you ate. And then finally, I want to know if you ate it with somebody. Did you eat it with someone or did you eat it alone? Was it a family meal? Okay, so this is a fairly detailed summary every single day, what you ate, how much you ate, where it came from, why you ate it, who you ate it with, where you ate it, everything that is corresponding to what went into your body. And I don't care if you stopped at Starbucks and got a latte. Anything that went into your lips for that week, every single day. Now, on a separate page, right, or at the bottom of that page, what I have them do is just take a regular 3-ring binder and Monday, fill it out, new page Tuesday, fill it out, new page Wednesday, fill it out. And at the bottom of that page, if there's room, hopefully, you aren't eating that much, but still, the more detail, the better. Either at the bottom of that page or on the next page, we have the activity log that goes with that day. So not only am I looking at what you ate, I also want to know what you did, okay? What activities you did. Now, I know that many of you out there aren't exercising. You aren't even thinking about exercising. I'm not necessarily talking about exercise. I'm just talking about anything you did that got you off your butt. Did you walk the dog? Did you go to the mall? Did you do shopping? Anything that got you up and moving, right? For instance, our president likes to golf. That counts as exercise. Same thing. If you went golfing, if you went swimming, if you played tennis, any of the sports that you may like to do, that counts. You went bowling. I want to know any and every activity that you did. Okay? So this way we're figuring out exactly what went into your body, calories wise, and we can sit down and figure out the number of calories based on what you had, where you got it, etc., etc. How much activity you did on that day as well. So that'll give me a good indication over that day and the entire week. Are you at a negative energy balance? Are you at a positive energy balance? And just how bad is your negative or positive energy balance? You know, if you're at weight, if you're staying, at the weight you're supposed to be at, the doctor will tell you this is the weight you should be at, or your BMI, where you should be. You know, if you're overweight, I knew I couldn't see my feet when it got to 252 pounds. I knew I couldn't see my toes. I knew that the only way I could see my stomach flat at that time was to lay on my back and suck it in. I mean, it's not something that, will sneak up on you and go, oh, wow, look in the mirror and one day you notice. No, it does creep up quietly and there's no symptoms unless you're getting hit with type 2 diabetes like me. But it does sneak up on you slowly. I mean, you do not get fat overnight. I didn't get fat overnight. And let me again show you the picture. I do like to scare people with this picture. It scares me, you guys. Remember, that was me at 252 pounds. That was me. Epiphany and progress. I love that. J-Bob, Sam, what's going on? Hey, you guys fan me up if you haven't fanned me yet. Rikuo Putes. That is a real hard one to say all at once. But the point I want to make, if me, 25-year IT guy, computer training for 25 years, right? If I, at age 46, BMI of 38, 252 pounds, still smoking a pack of Camel filters a day, right? 46, the doctor says, you're hit with type 2 diabetes. Boom. Do something or face the damages that go with it. If I, at 46, the original couch potato, I've seen every episode of Gilligan's Island and all the sitcoms from the 60s and 70s multiple times. Me, the original couch potato. If I can do it, then I know you guys can do it. Anybody can start making changes at any age. And that's the important thing. I was talking to a gentleman on here, I think it was early this week or late last week, who was telling me about his father, right, who's actually younger than me. I'm 58. I'll be 59 here in a couple of months. But his father's only 55. He's overweight, and he just got diagnosed with pre-diabetes, right? But he was telling me that his dad thinks it's too late. He thinks he's too far gone. He thinks he's too old. That's insane. That's crazy. The human body is like a lump of clay. It's malleable. I mean, I don't care if you're 20 or 80, 40 or 60. I don't care how old you are. You can start making positive changes anytime. You can lose weight at any age. I smoked for 31 years and got rid of the darn things on July 15th, 2005. I haven't had one since. And now I help other people quit smoking. In fact, the first chapter that was in my book I published in 2014, the first chapter is how I quit a 31-year cigarette habit. If I can do it, it can be done. That's what I'm saying. I'm nothing special. Right? I'm just your average, ordinary guy, born in New York, lived all over the country, military brat, former Marine when I was young, 25 years in computer training, and I loved IT. I loved computers. I still do. And I love to eat. I still do. I'm a foodie. In fact, I've been a gourmet cook for most of my adult life. I love to eat. I love to eat. Don't get me wrong. But now I know, and the difference between that me and this me is the portion sizes and the amount of energy that I burn. I know on a daily basis that I have the choice by the end of the day or the end of the week to either have more calories going in than I'm burning, or have more calories being burned than I'm putting in, or where I'm at right now, I'm in maintenance mode, which means I'm basically staying at weight. Right? My BMI is exactly where it needs to be. My weight is fluctuating between 140 and 145, and I've been this way for about 4 or 5 years now. Right? So I am at weight, and that is where I obviously need to choose to be. Obviously, as a personal trainer, certified personal trainer, you're not going to trust me very much if I still look like that. You certainly wouldn't be going to my website, personaltrainingwithbrad.com, personaltrainingwithbrad.com. Nobody would be hiring me if I still look the way I used to look. Okay. And quitting smoking is not as difficult as people make it out to be. Seriously. I mean, and I can always use the Mark Twain quote, quitting smoking is easy. I've done it thousands of times. Haha. The point is, if you smoke cigarettes, still, and there's 45 million Americans who still smoke cigarettes, if you're one of them, right, you need to quit. There's just no way you're going to get your health in order or even think about getting your health in order if you're still poisoning your body with the tobacco. The additives that they put in these things is insane. Take it from a guy who started smoking full-time at 15 years old. I had my first cigarette about 13, 14. Peer pressure. My neighbor upstairs stole packs of Cools from his dad, and he got me into smoking. But at 15, I was a full-time cigarette smoker, okay? And that's when I was first introduced to marijuana. Woo! Surprise, mid-70s. Can you believe it? That was 44 years ago for me, okay? 31 years, I smoked cigarettes. 31 years. Every single year that I smoked cigarettes, I got bronchitis. I got an upper respiratory infection. Every year I smoked cigarettes, okay? I got rid of the cigarettes in July 2005. Last one, July 15, 2005. The cigarettes I got rid of. I still partake. It allows me, as a back pain sufferer, to take less of the over-the-counter medications that my doctor prescribes me. They have me on permanent severe disability because of my back and issues. If you saw the MRIs and the x-rays, you go, how in the hell do you become a personal trainer? Because I just have that kind of stick-to-itive stubbornness that won't allow me not to. A-plus personality, firstborn child, retired Marine, you can figure it out. So now, what I do is I help people do what I've already done. You get rid of the cigarettes. You lose the weight. You get your diabetes under control. You get it managed. Once you have full-blown diabetes, you're not getting rid of it normally. If your pancreas is only half functioning like mine is, diabetes won't go away. If, however, you are new to type 2 diabetes, if it's still fairly recent with you and your pancreas is still fairly active, then yes, you can reverse it. You can get rid of that damn diabetes. If you have pre-diabetes, and remember again, these are the scary numbers, you guys. There's 325 million of us Americans. Out of the 325 million Americans, 30 million of us are already diagnosed. I'm one. I'm type 2 diabetic. So that leaves 295 million Americans. Out of 295 million Americans, 84 million are currently pre-diabetic. That number is up from 72 million not too many years ago when I first started training in this industry. 12 million jump in less than 5 years. That really bothers me. And 2 years in a row, lifespans have decreased. Let me say it again. 2018, you guys. Lifespans have decreased for the second year in a row. That's crazy. With all of the technology that we have coming down the pike, all of the miracles of modern medicine that we are finding, all of genetic research that we are doing, our lifespans should constantly be extending longer. I expect all 4 of my kids, they're all millennials, I expect all 4 of them to live to 100 plus without drooling on themselves and wearing diapers, if you know what I mean. So, we have an issue. It's an obesity crisis. America's leading the way, even though it's a global crisis. America's leading the way in this crisis. I got caught up in it. I know. I understand firsthand. When I was 252 pounds, the last thing I wanted to do was to walk into some LA Fitness or some health club and have some buff little millennial, nothing personal millennials, come running up to me going, "Can I help you?" You know, you're just not, that's not where you're at. So fortunately for my clients, and a lot of personal trainers now are getting smart, I do a Skype with a lot of my clients. So they don't even have to leave their house for me to help them. In fact, I learned that my best way of getting myself motivated, I bought a 3-year membership to a club and I only went a couple times. But I finally did determine what I need to do is to do what I have to do at home. So I got the weights, I got the machine, I got everything that I needed to accomplish what I had to accomplish. And even though I lost my career in information technology due to back issues and injuries and pain, I was able to turn it around and make lemonade, or turn lemons into lemonade, and became a certified personal trainer at age 56. I didn't want the personal trainer specifically. What I wanted was the health coach. Because that, when I looked at the description of a certified health coach, I'm like, that's exactly what I do. I mean, that's exactly what I do. Because a health coach is like a personal trainer, only with a huge scope of practice. I mean, instead of just working on the physical body, and a personal trainer, nothing wrong with personal trainers just by themselves, but they have a limited scope of practice. For me, I wanted to be able to help the entire individual. Yes, physically is important, but just physical is not going to be enough to make sure that you're balanced. Balance is the key in everything in this life. Everything in this life comes down to your balance. Physically balanced, mentally balanced, emotionally balanced, intellectually balanced, and yes, spiritually balanced. Human beings, we have a spiritual side. I don't care what your religion is. You still have a spiritual side. You still have that need, that inside need to touch, that part anyway. So balance is the key, virtually to everything. Balance with your blood sugars, going to make sure you don't become a diabetic. Balance with your weight and your intake, make sure you don't get overweight, or if you're overweight, make sure you get off of being overweight. Balance with your emotions is going to help all of your relationships, no matter who they're with. When you're balanced emotionally, it makes a whole lot easier for you to deal with individuals on a one-on-one basis. And it makes them a whole lot easier for them to deal with you because they know. And for those of you who do have issues out there, and I have friends who are bipolar, etc., right? We all have issues like that. And working with your professional is the key to staying on top of that. I have a huge range of referral-based network. I mean, everything from optometrists to podiatrists to psychiatrists to you name it, ists-wise, and I have a referral network. I don't know everything, and I know I don't know everything. What I do know, I'm very good at. What I don't know, I send off to other people. Right? For instance, I know for a fact when you have issues like bipolar disorder or depression, things of that nature, it isn't always necessarily something that's mental. It could be also physical. You might be having issues with hormones or imbalances that have to be diagnosed by a professional. So don't let anybody try and diagnose you who doesn't know what they're talking about or hasn't been trained in that particular area. Hey, Vader. Akatsuki, did I say that? Akatsuki Leder Sain Vader. I don't know. I like the picture, though. That's cool. Do me a favor, you guys. If you haven't fanned me, go ahead and do so. Most of the time, people pay me anywhere from $35 to $50 an hour as their personal trainer and health coach to help them do these things. For me, this is going to be MLK Day all year long. I've decided this year that I'm going to be giving back, one, to help people quit smoking for free. I want to be interactive on here and answer your questions. If I can help anybody on this platform, for me, that's my give back this year. So I'm spending maybe 2 hours a day coming on here, preaching health, because that's what I do. I'm not even doing anything as far as earning any money right now as a personal trainer or health coach, because I'm writing book number 2, which I want to get finished before the end of the year and get published, and this one is for dogs. We have a real big problem in this country and around the world with our responsibility taking care of domestic dogs, domestic cats, the animal life forms on this planet in general. My general opinion is, if it swims, flies, crawls, walks on land, whatever it does, human beings will find a way to abuse it or use it. Not everybody. 99% of the people on this planet are awesome, loving, incredibly wonderful human beings. But that 1% out there, there's that 1% that makes all the rest of us humans look like crap. And those are the ones that we all need to raise our voices up and say, hey, enough of that. Right now we have a problem in this country because people are leaving dogs out in the cold and they're being frozen solid. It is unacceptable to leave a dog out, period. Take it from me. I've had dogs from 200 pounds all the way down to a 3.5 pound teacup chihuahua. Every single dog I've ever had would much rather be inside, sitting either in your lap or right next to you, than anywhere else, especially outside, chained to a doghouse or chained to a tree or just sitting out there neglected. And there's no such thing, remember, as an aggressive dog or an aggressive breed or a bad dog or a bad breed. There's no such thing as a pit bull that's born aggressive. That doesn't happen. Animals are only going to be reactive to how they're trained. Remember, a dog has the mentality of about a 2 to 3 year old child. I don't care if it's a Rottweiler or a poodle. Right? I don't care if it's 150 pounds or 5 pounds. They have the same mentality. They have the same emotions and intellectual capability of about a toddler, a 2 to 3 year old child. You would not take a toddler and shove them out in your backyard, stuck them on a chain, attached to a tree or a doghouse. It's just not done. Or at least it shouldn't be. In my opinion, if you want security, get an alarm. Don't use a poor defenseless animal that can't talk for itself. Because if they could, they go, don't leave me out here. I don't want to be stuck out here, especially when it gets down below 60 degrees. It's a myth that because animals have fur, because dogs have fur, that it insulates them. No, that is wrong. W-R-O-N-G, wrong. Dogs get cold and get overheated just like we do. In fact, we have advantages because we've got sebaceous glands. We have sweat glands. The only sweat glands they have are in their paws, maybe a few in their ears, sweating through their tongue. They pant, but they have absolutely no sweat glands. So regulating their body temperature for dogs is not as easy as it is for humans. Anyhow, I'll get off my soapbox on that one. I have a real problem with the way human beings treat their animals, especially the domestic dog. Remember, we took a perfectly good gray wolf, right, about 50,000 years ago when we were still hunter-gatherers and spent most of our time out hunting, and we had campfires at that time. But these perfectly wonderful gray wolves that decided they were going to come up and start spending time with human beings, and once the puppies start coming in and spending time with human beings, over thousands of years, we turned a perfectly good gray wolf into a couch potato. Everything from a Chihuahua to a bull mastiff. Every dog that's out there, every breed of dog that's out there that's on the planet now that's a domestic dog, came from the perfectly good gray wolf. Now, we all know a gray wolf can fend for itself, right? You put a gray wolf out in the wild, he can hunt, he can do whatever it takes to fend for itself. I guarantee you, this guy, let me show you. Who's joined us? My African alien dad. Well, that's cool. Wardner? Hey, Madison. This guy. Look at this guy. This is Zeke. Zeke is my chiggy. He's 4 years old. He was a complete panic basket case when he came to me a couple of years ago. A completely panicked basket case when he came to me a few years ago. He couldn't even look at his own shadow. Taking him out for a walk was almost impossible because he couldn't walk on a leash. Every possible sound panicked him. Now, he still suffers panic attacks from fireworks and firecrackers and things of that nature. But in general, he has come a long way in the 2.5 years he's been with me. But I can assure you one thing, guys. If he ever had to go out in the wild to fend for himself, if he was ever out in the woods by himself, even for a night, he would not survive. You know, this, what used to be a gray wolf is now a 30-pound couch potato. Right? And we did that. We humans did that. Whose granddaddy you is? Well, I'm not a granddaddy yet. So hopefully one of my kids will start having some kids here of their own pretty soon. And, I'm looking forward to being a granddaddy, to be perfectly honest. But remember, age is just a number. You've got multiple ages that you have to deal with and multiple ages that you're talking about. Being a Buddhist, I have ages that include my chronological age. All right, that's the year I was born. Okay, which is 1959. All right, so it's funny because I'm going to be the same age as the year I was born this year. Get it? 1959. I'll be 59. But there's your chronological age is based on the number of years you've been on this planet. All right. You've also got your emotional age. Believe me, I know people in their 50s and 60s that never matured, that never grew up. All right. So emotionally, they may still be in their teens or younger. You've got your intellectual age. I mean, how old are you intellectually? I mean, and that a lot depends on how much you continue learning after you get out of high school or college. It drives me crazy knowing that most people, once they stop attending school, never pick up a book again. I can't understand that. For me, reading is just, anyhow. But then again, as an author, as a writer, I guess you would imagine that I like reading as well, and I do have thousands of books in my library. And I have to thank my parents at a very early age for getting us into book clubs and just getting me into reading. So it's extremely important. But like I said, you've got to keep the balance and the age that you're talking about: chronological age, emotional age, intellectual age, and spiritual age. I believe in reincarnation, personally. I'm quite convinced I've been on this planet many, 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 many times before. Other incarnations. In fact, the people that you meet in this life, I'm quite convinced, the ones that you spend the most time with, you've spent time with in past lives. You may have someone you're married to now who could have been a sister or brother or father in a past life, or any of those combinations. So age is relative, right? Based on what you're talking about. If you're talking about just a simple number of years you've been on this planet, all right, so yeah, chronological age, yeah. But I don't think that's the age that everybody needs to really focus on. I think the age that you really need to focus on is your emotional age. The age at which you reach a maturity level that you're going to be able to be a functional, adult, effective, productive, happy member of society. When emotions get in your way and stop you from doing that, emotions are causing you to overeat. They call it comfort food for a reason. Emotions have a tendency to get in our way. Emotions are like the trap that we dig and that we fall into ourselves. That's what happens with emotions. One of the nice things about being a human being is we have conscious thought. We've got a bicameral brain with a nice little corpus callosum in there giving us communication between the hemispheres. We have conscious thought. We have the ability on a daily basis to choose, literally, to choose. Is it going to be a good day? Is it going to be a bad day? When you wake up in the morning, let's put it this way. 90,000 of us go to bed every night and don't wake up the next day. Okay? That's a scary number. Think about it. I mean, we lose about 160,000 people a day, just generally. 160,000 people a day die. We're
replacing them with a slightly smaller number right now. But that'll go up again. The birth rate is slightly lower than the death rate right now. But of the 160,000 people who die on a daily basis, 90,000 of them die at night in their sleep. Okay. Now think about this seriously and extrapolate with me. Okay. Let's use me as an example. Here I was, 250 pounds, right? Still smoke cigarettes, sedentary, not me, just spending my day fat and happy, working on the little Rice Krispie. Hey, Carlos. Spending my day working on the computers and computer technology, computer training, 25 years just getting fat and happy, right? 250 pounds, 46 years old, 31st year smoking cigarettes. Doctor tells me after I'm having all these weird symptoms, extreme thirst, constant urination, vision changes, weird symptoms. You have type 2 diabetes. That's what hit me in my doctor's office in May 2005, okay, just after I turned 46 years old. So there I am, 46 years old, 252 pounds, smoking a pack of cigarettes a day, okay, and the doctor tells me you've got type 2 diabetes. Now, on top of this, I'd already been suffering back pain for years, right? So I've already been a back pain sufferer. 1 out of 3 of you, 1 out of 3 Americans suffers back pain. So I know you're out there as well as I am. And I know there's people out there that have worse pain than I do. But there I am, 46, 252 pounds. I'm obese, 38, obese, still smoking cigarettes, and I'm hit with type 2 diabetes. What the freak was I going to do? I mean, at 46, okay? Now, I could have just said, oh, crap, and just, given up, kicked back and said, well, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I could have just kept eating the way I was eating and smoking my cigarettes and hanging around working on the computers and, just generally not caring, all right? But, and this is what really scares me, and let me come down here and talk to you about this. In fact, I'm going to get my stool and talk to you guys about this one. There I was, 46 years old, 252 pounds, still smoking cigarettes, hit with type 2 diabetes. Doc says, you make some changes, otherwise you can start picking out some fingers and toes, and eventually you lose your eyesight and your life, because type 2 diabetes has a real bad tendency to do horrible things to the body over time, especially if it goes untreated. So there I am, and I'm thinking, what in the heck am I going to do? Literally. I mean, I'm still drinking sugared sodas and eating all the things that I want to eat. I mean, I did not have the faintest idea what the heck I was going to do. So that's where many of you are right now. You might be sitting there thinking, what am I going to do? And it doesn't matter how old you are, is one of the points I want to make. It doesn't matter how old you are when you start to make some changes, especially if you've been hit with what we call in the industry a perceived health threat. Too many people wait until, like I did, till they actually get a health threat, a perception of something that's going to threaten their mortality. Or I didn't like the idea of possibly losing fingers and toes and eyesight. That did not do me any I was not happy about that in one little bit. So at this point, you have the choice on a daily basis when you get up, right? Is it going to be a good day? Is it going to be a bad day? Am I going to make positive changes? Am I going to do anything to improve the length of time that I'm going to spend on this planet and the quality of that time? Because remember, when you're heavy, when you're obese, and at 252 pounds, I was obese, you don't have the energy that you should have. Sitting around and sleeping a lot and taking naps. I was a big napper at 252 pounds. 46 years old, and I'm a napper, back then. I don't nap anymore so much. More energy these days. But you can make the changes at any age. You can start making the changes at any age. And it's not something that's going to happen overnight, and it's not something that's going to happen fast. You don't get unhealthy fast. You don't gain weight fast. I did not become obese fast. I did not lose 110 pounds fast. I walked it off over time. I basically figured out I can still eat what I like to eat. I still eat all of the things that I enjoy. But now I understand it's the portion size, not as much the quality, although quality is important. And yes, I do eat a lot more healthy stuff now. You know, I mean, I like salads. I like fruit. I like tofu. But it has taken 13 years of slowly changing my diet, slowly changing my lifestyle to make the permanent changes that I had to make to get where I'm at now. And yeah, I got certified as a personal trainer and a health coach at 56, so I can help other people do the same darn thing. When I was in computer training, I always harped at my clients, get certified, Microsoft certification, Novell certifications, Oracle database, all of them. That way, when you're going out there and you're talking to people that need your services or someone who's going to hire you as a network engineer, a security expert, or a web designer, whatever, database developer, whatever they wanted to hire you at in the computer industry, if you have the certifications to back up what you could do, then the experience that you had along with the certifications are going to take you a lot farther. They're also going to let people understand that you are serious about your career, that you took the time to invest in both the training and prove that you know the training by getting certified. So for me, once I understood health coach certification and what that entailed, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to continue working in computers anymore because of my back, first, I published a book just to help people. And then at 56, which is almost 3 years ago now, I became a certified personal trainer and certified health coach. So now I help people do what I did. Quit smoking, and that's my give back free. If you guys want to get cigarettes off your back, if you're still a smoker, I'll do that for free. Just reach out, text me. If you want to lose weight, I hope you do that as well. Get in shape. Get off that type 2 diabetes list. And let's try not to be one of those 90,000 people who pass away every night in their sleep. Remember, coronary arterial disease, CAD, is still the leading cause of death in America. That's the plaque buildup in your artery walls that gives you heart attacks and strokes. Okay? Coronary arterial disease is still the leading cause of death in America. And this is key, it is still one of the most preventable diseases that we have. One of the most preventable. You with me on this? Something as small as 10% can help. For instance, when I was 252 pounds, taking off 10% would have put me down to 225-ish, let's say 225 pounds. I can remember the difference I felt in my energy level just getting down to 225. But, and more importantly, if you're one of the 84 million Americans, and that's 1 out of 4 Americans, if you're one of those people that has prediabetes, taking 10% off your weight could probably pull you off that list, get you off that prediabetes list. And remember, I'm not talking about losing weight fast. I'm talking about slowly, over time, making permanent lifestyle changes that you can stick with the rest of your life. You don't need diet fads and diet plans and things that you sign up for and programs that you pay for. What you need is to figure out what you can do as far as keeping a balance in your diet, eating what you like to a degree for the most part, but cutting back on the portion sizes. Okay, have a slice or two of pizza, but don't eat the whole damn pizza. All right, have a slice of chocolate cake, but don't eat the whole cake. You with me on this? Portion sizes, okay? And when you start losing the weight and you start getting down, 1, the energy levels go through the roof. 2, you feel much better about yourself in general. You're putting a lot less pressure on your heart, your pancreas, your internal organs. Once you start losing some more fat and some of that visceral fat starts coming off. Now, visceral fat is the fat that accumulates around your organs. That's why they call it a fatty liver. Visceral fat is some of the most difficult to reach and difficult to burn off, and some of the last fat that you can finally remove. But once you start getting down to those healthy numbers, you will feel so much better about yourself, especially if it's not done fast with a diet plan, diet programs. Slowly, over time, 1 to 2 pounds a week, fine. Remember, 1 pound a week is 52 pounds a year, right? You can either lose it or gain it. It's your pick. Seriously. I mean, it is a numbers game, just like I told you. Hey, Ashley, how's it going? Nod. I will nod at you. Seriously, if you have any questions, I'm getting ready to finish up for today. I've been yammering at you for a while. Hopefully, I've helped people with a little bit of questions on diabetes, weight loss. If you have any questions regarding anything on health issues, that's what I am, a health coach. But I also do a lot of counseling on things like public speaking. I teach people how to play pool, 9-ball. I'm a professional poker player, used to be, to a degree. I have a whole range of skills. I am a professional mystery shopper, if you have ever heard of that. I'm actually silver and gold certified MSPA mystery shopper, and that's an awful lot of fun. If you're ever looking for a part-time career, that's a really good way to go, especially if you have a good attention to detail and you like people. It always helps if you like people in general, but to be a good mystery shopper, that really does help out as well. Anyhow, you guys, I'm going to sit here and probably sign off here in a few minutes. If you haven't fanned me yet, go ahead and do so. Like I said, my goal this year is to make it MLK Day every day to give back as much as I can. Like I say, if I hadn't made the changes, if I hadn't gotten rid of 110 pounds and gotten rid of cigarettes and, done something to get my diabetes under control, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now. My guess is I probably would have been one of those 90,000 who pass away in their sleep every night. And keep in mind, if you're deconditioned, okay, and you're asleep, your heart is still going to react when you're dreaming the same as if you're awake, okay? So if during the day you're sitting around all day and you're not exercising and your heart is not normally going up to 120, 130, 140 beats a minute, but in your dream, one night you're being chased by a monster for some reason, and your heart goes up to 130, 140 beats a minute, and it's not used to going up to 130, 140 beats a minute, guess what might happen? Think about it. Yes, like I said, coronary artery disease, coronary arterial disease, CAD, is still the leading cause of death in the United States, and still the most preventable. It's all a matter of taking the numbers down, getting the weight, the BMI, where it needs to be. Okay. Anyhow, like I said, I'm getting ready to head out. I got to finish up my day. I've actually got a nice cold brew and a game of 9-ball waiting for me eventually. In the meantime, I got to do a few more things of my own, and get another few more pages written in the dog book. For those of you who love dogs, I guarantee you the dog book I come out with by the end of this year, it's going to be a good one. I'm putting a lot of time and effort into this, and hopefully when this book comes out, it'll be as well received, if not better, than my first book. It's interesting what you learn writing and publishing a book. Very, very interesting. Fun, too, in a way. Anyhow, like I say, fan me up, you guys. If you haven't fanned me yet, go ahead and do so. I hope I've been able to be some help to some of the folks on here today. I love being an ACE certified health coach. My give back this year is to help as many people as I can in as many forms as I can quit smoking, lose weight, get their diabetes under control, manage their back pain. Remember, we do have an opioid crisis in America right now. We're losing 150 people a day to this. But we have an obesity crisis in America right now, and we're losing 1,500 people a day to that. So yes, while I am concerned about the opioid crisis and being an opioid user for pain myself, I understand even more that when I'm losing 10 times as many people due to obesity, that needs to be taken into account. That we need to really step up. I am understanding there's a lot of being push going on right now for the opioid crisis. I want to see a bigger push for the obesity epidemic. It is a crisis. It is literally an epidemic happening right now. I got caught up with it. If you're caught up in it, let's help you get out of it. Like I said, I don't care if you're 20, 40, 60, 80 years old. You can start making positive changes in your life anytime you choose, at any age. If I can go from 46 being completely unhealthy, totally obese, smoking a pack of cigarettes a day, never exercising, I was completely deconditioned at 46, to becoming a certified personal trainer and health coach at 56, 10 years later. If I can do that, there's hope for anybody, seriously. So if I can do it, guarantee you can make some changes. If you're pre-diabetic, 10%. That's all I want. Get 10% off, we'll get you off that list. From there, you can keep going down if you need to, but at least let's get the pre-diabetics off of that list. My goal, at least this year anyway, one of them. Anyhow, I appreciate you guys watching. I really do. I know that some of you out there need my services. If you want to hire me as a personal trainer, you can go to my website, personaltrainingwithbrad.com. Again, that's personaltrainingwithbrad.com. If you fan me here on YouNow, I will check. But if you're a fan of me here on YouNow, you'll get an hour for free, and that's on top of the initial consultation. Every consultation I do in the beginning is free. Whether it's on the phone or on Skype, it doesn't really matter, or in person if you're in my vicinity. Most of my clients right now are via Skype. So, and that's an awesome platform, and that way I can help you at pretty much any time. And hit my Facebook page for the book, Pushing Double Nickels. Go hit the Facebook page for Pushing Double Nickels and join us, because we're always talking mostly about animal stuff these days, because most of my 7,000 fans really enjoyed the adoption stories and things that I put in the first book. Anyhow, again, I appreciate you taking the time to watch me. I hope you've learned something today. Does anybody have any questions before I get going? Hit me up now. Ashley, you have any questions? Nod? Come on, you guys. You guys made this too easy on me today. Little Rice Krispie. I still want to... How did you come African alien dad? Madison time. Hey, Maddie. Lader Seen Vader. Now, what's the difference between Vader and Lader Seen Vader? You guys related? Spaceman Vito. Woo! Who's sauce? Epiphany in progress. I love that. When I understood that being able to make a change was as simple as doing a step-by-step process, that was my epiphany. Literally. How the hell am I going to get 250, 100 plus pounds off and get rid of the cigarettes and get the diabetes under control, lose fingers and toes? I mean, literally, I was in pretty much panic mode when they hit me with that in 2005. So, yeah, epiphany is most definitely a something that hit me at that after I finally put it together and figured it out. Hey, you guys, any questions? Yeah, seriously, the category is ask questions, so may as well hit me now before I get rolling for the day, because I'll be back on tomorrow morning. First thing, we do dogs. In fact, where are the other two are hiding? They disappeared. I've got 3 dogs. They're all rescues, and one 18-year-old tabby cat who is also a rescue. For me, taking care of people is the utmost important thing in my life as a health coach and personal trainer. But the second most important thing, animals, specifically dogs and cats, domestic dogs and cats. I will not be happy until every kill shelter is closed, until every dog and cat has been adopted and put in a good home. And if we need to shut down puppy mill and puppy store until that happens, then I'm willing to do it. And if I've got to get a hold of the ASPCA, and they've heard from me multiple times, and force them to seeing the responsible way of doing things, then I will. These dog shows are really starting to tee me off. There's no such thing as a breed of dog that's better than another. The best breed of dog on the planet is a Heinz 57 that you get out of a shelter that was abandoned, that needs a good home. That's the best breed of dog. If you're looking for someone that's going to love you for your entire life unconditionally, get a dog. Seriously. But remember, that's also a lifetime commitment, 15 to 20-year commitment minimum. So we never give away puppies and kittens as presents. Remember that. You don't hand somebody a 20-year responsibility without them agreeing to it way in advance and thinking about it. Anyhow, I'll get off my soapbox on the animals again. Once you start me talking about dogs and the way we abuse them, especially domestic dogs in America, I will not stop. It is one of my biggest pet peeves, that and people throwing cigarettes on the ground. Cigarette butts. Don't even start me. Anyhow, again, I appreciate you guys watching. Fan me up. I'm getting ready to head out and finish the rest of my day. The option, again, every day when you get up, you have the option. Is it going to be a good day? Is it going to be a bad day? Am I going to do something positive for myself today? Am I going to do something positive for my friends, my family, my community, my planet? Right? What are you going to do on a daily basis that's going to help improve you as a human being? Something that's going to make it to the point where every morning when you get up and look in the mirror, you like who you see. Remember, the only person that on this planet that you ever are really going to know is the person that you look at in the mirror every single day. So you may as well like that person. And if you don't, let's work on ways so that you can. Because believe me, I don't care how old you are. I don't care how far gone you think you are. You can make the positive changes. You can make changes starting today. Small steps. It's up to you. Remember, the glass is always half full. Always. Look at it that way. If you can remain positive and optimistic, that can stick with you. And that will help carry you through bad times. Right? Yes, life has its ups and downs, its peaks and valleys. It's staying balanced through all of that and staying happy through all of that. That's what's going to help get you by. Anyhow, I appreciate you looking. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you guys participating. If you haven't fanned me, please go ahead and fan me now. I will be back on here first thing tomorrow morning. We'll be doing dog walking, and tomorrow is my Monday, so that means I will be doing stretching and weights. So you can join me tomorrow as I'm doing weights and stretching, and once again talking about trying to live a healthy, balanced life. All right, you guys. Well, if you're sitting, get up and move every 30 minutes. If you sit on the job for a living, every 30 minutes, get up and stretch. Take it from a guy who ruined his lower back. You can do yourself a big favor if you can do that every 30 minutes. Anyhow, I appreciate it. Fan me if you haven't, and I'll look forward to seeing everybody again tomorrow.